Jcarl Weather here with your severe weather breakdown. We got a couple of days heading our way, starting with today. We got an enhanced risk of severe weather out in eastern Iowa into Illinois. That's because they'll be getting a lot more sun and a lot more instability to build in out that way. So they have a shot at tornadoes. There's a level 3 out of 5 risk. There's that yellow bullseye, which means there could be a tornado out there. It has the potential to be a decently strong tornado, and then they're more concerned about wind than hail, as there is a shot of this growing upscale going into a line, and those lines tend to produce much stronger winds. And going into tomorrow, Friday, we have that risk a lot more closer to home. We'll be seeing an enhanced risk in southern Iowa, and that's primarily for wind. It looks like it's going to be a line event where it congeals into a line very quickly. But at the start of that, we can't rule out a tornado before that line fully develops. So a shot at some tornadoes down into southern Iowa and Missouri, where they'll have the most energy, they'll have a lot warmer temperatures and a lot higher dew points down that way. So getting into today, we've already seen over an inch of rain. So we're in that 1.5 inches range here in Ames. We're right in a little bullseye. So we've seen the most rain out of anyone. It's been a real soaker out there. My parking lot was a puddle, so very wet this morning. Had to get that umbrella out on your way to class, which I realized I don't own one. I need to go get on that. My rain jacket was not enough this morning while I was at the bus stop. So a lot of rain across Iowa. This is good for the drought we've been experiencing, but not great for just everyday activities, going to class, staying outside. But it is spring. We need those nice spring rains to come here. And it's been beneficial. This rain we've seen today has helped keep down those severe potential for us here in central Iowa. Over in eastern Iowa, they'll be seeing clearing a lot sooner than us, and that's part of why they have that risk out for today. But we have a lot of heavy rain around the region. We have yellows, reds. That's that moderate rain where you don't want to be outside walking in it. Here in Ames, we're in that dark green, so uncomfortable but not super heavy. And we'll be seeing this big blob of rain continue to move up across Iowa as we move throughout the day. And it'll clear out of here in Des Moines, Ames around 3, 4, 5 o'clock. So hopefully dry for our dinner hour, but definitely very wet outside, not a great day out there. And we could see some stronger storms develop, especially Des Moines over to Ottumwa. And as we push towards Davenport, they're more in that bullseye for stronger storms developing in this clear area to the south of this big rain shield. Going into our models, we'll look at the HRRR for what it thinks will happen today. So we'll see that rain continue throughout the day. The HRRR has it clearing out around 2, which I think is too early. I think it'll be more 3, 4 o'clock. And we'll see those scattered thunderstorms start to build into southern and eastern Iowa. They could be strong, have some hail wind, maybe a potential tornado. That tornado risk is higher because they do form into discrete cells. So they're on their own. They can have more potential to tap the atmosphere, become supercells, and put down maybe some tornadoes out there into Iowa and into Illinois there. Then we'll see those thunderstorms move out of our region before we'll see some more on Friday. But let's look at some more of the parameters before we go straight into Friday. So we'll take the NAM we'll look at the GFS for our CAPE value. So the CAPE is how much energy is there in the atmosphere. We'll take a look at that first, and we'll zoom out so we can see the Illinois and Indiana risk as well. So we'll look at the surface-based CAPE to see how much energy is in there. So as you get into southern Iowa, do you get around 1,000 joules per kilogram, which isn't a ton, but it is on that enough for some severe weather to be produced, especially with the big systems we have going through. So we get some marginal tornado soundings. That's why the SPC has that 10% risk out, but it's a very messy day out there for storm mode wise, just based on the amount of rain across the region already. So it's going to be hard to get that instability and energy to build on in. Then for Friday, we do have more shot at seeing stronger instability, but it looks like it's going to be confined to southern Iowa. That's why here in Ames, I don't think we'll have a tornado threat at all. We could see some gusty winds, especially once that line develops and grows, but the tornado threat's looking very low for here in Ames. Here, this sounding is near Des Moines, and it is showing the potential of tornadoes, but that's because it's right near that low pressure system, meaning there's a lot of spin with height, and that's good for creating tornadoes, even if there isn't all that much energy out there. It's very thick CAPE is what we call it in the meteorology world, so there's a lot in the mid-levels, so that means the air will accelerate a lot and create strong updrafts, creating potentially strong storms, but it might be hard for those storms to get off the ground, and we'll see not much in place to stop the storms from growing. So we'll see a lot of storms grow quickly. So that will tamper the tornado threat for tomorrow. And we'll see that threat go away very quickly as we move from 4, 5, 6 o'clock into those later hours when the sun goes down. So a very interesting setup coming our way for Friday. For today, I think that severe weather will stay well to our east. So we'll see that low pressure system move on out. Then we get low pressure system number 2 for Friday. And I'm concerned for severe weather right in this bullseye, right near that low pressure system is where we'd have the highest chance for any strong storms. So in this region, southern Iowa, the northern Missouri border, and I'm sadly not looking to storm chase tomorrow as it seems to grow much too quickly for us to get on a tornado and watch it. We think maybe there will be a tornado, but there might be a lot of storms around. It'll be hard to see, or it just might go into a line too quickly, and our main threat will be damaging winds, which we don't want the minivan to be out there in those 60, 70 mile an hour winds. So we'll see that low pressure system move on out. We'll be left cold for our Saturday. Let's look at those surface temperatures on our Saturday. So we look at temperatures. We stay cold. That's another reason why I don't think the severe weather will be all that robust here in Ames, as we're at 46 is our high today. That's not enough to support strong storms here. But out where it's 70, eastern Iowa, they do have a shot at strong storms. Then going into Friday, it starts off real cold, 37, so a cold walk to class. Be ready for that. Then we'll see that low pressure system bring in some warmer temperatures. It tries to get them close to Ames. I think this is overdoing it a little bit. But if it does get that warm, we do have a shot at seeing severe weather. So here in Des Moines, 69 degrees it looks like around that Des Moines area, maybe just to its west. So if those warm air does get evected into our region, which means moved in, that's the fancy meteorology term for it, we could see a shot at those stronger storms. So we have that. Looks like it doesn't really get to Ames. We maybe touch 60 tomorrow, and then we'll see that low push on off and cold for our Saturday. So our high on Saturday is looking to be 42. It's going to be nice and chilly with, I believe, a wind chill. So we'll look at that quick. A wind chill down in those 20s for Saturday. Gets up to 30, then 25 overnight. So it's spring, which you do get that nice weather, but you experience both sides. You also experience a little winter in spring. So we got those cold temperatures coming up this weekend. It gets a little bit better going into Sunday with feels like temperatures up in those middle 50s. We'll see some sun. So an okay day Saturday, you can get outside. Or okay day Sunday, you can get outside. Saturday's not looking too hot though. So one more check on those severe storms. Let's take another look at a different model for Iowa. We'll look at the RRFS, which tends to be the most aggressive out of every model in producing severe storms. So usually this is your first sign. You need to look for the potential of severe storms. But if it does have severe storms, that doesn't necessarily mean that they will verify. So we'll see that big rain shield move on off. And it looks like some pretty strong storms across eastern Iowa for today. This one has them forming into a line much quicker, and it does make the environment look very good for tornadoes. With that wind shear, there's a lot of curvature, as you see straight out of the south at the surface, and then as you move, it goes southwesterly and gets a lot stronger. So that's good for promoting wind shear. We have 210 storm relative helicity, which is a metric that shows how much spin is in the atmosphere compared to the storm's movement. So we'll see that push on off, and not looking like an outbreak situation, but definitely some strong storms. Any cell that gets going could have the potential to put down some tornadoes. I don't think there'll be strong tornadoes, but tornadoes are on the table today. Then we'll see that low pressure system move off. We got low pressure system number 2 pushing on, coming through tomorrow. And look, those folks out in Minnesota getting some snow. They're getting, some areas may get up to double digits inches of snow. So two big systems back to back. And here's where we have those big storms going up around. They get going very early. They get going around this will be just after noon for 20Z. Then we'll see those push on off and maybe be strong as they push into Des Moines. Up here, I think there'll be regular severe storms like this probable hazard type is going. The biggest risk is going to be winds. We have extremely good wind shear east at the surface, so straight out of the east, and then as it goes up with height, it tilts like this, which is very good for storms. Storms are a big fan of that. We have 479 storm relative helicity values. Usually for tornadoes, you're looking at around 150 to 200. 300 is extremely good. So 479 is extremely good shear in the upper atmosphere, but with those cold temperatures at the surface, we think it will create a line, but there is that shot for severe wind potentials with just how robust the wind profile is, how much spin there is in the atmosphere. That's a good recipe for getting a lot of strong winds. So we'll see strong winds push across central Iowa into Illinois and move on out, leaving us dry and cold going into this weekend. So that's Jcarl's full severe weather breakdown. Let me know what you want to see down in those comments, and thank you all for watching.